Rainwater collection is one of the oldest and most effective ways to water a garden. But what if you could make it even better? What if that clear, soft water could be turned into a living brew, one that doesn't just hydrate your plants but supercharges your soil with microbial life? Most gardeners stop at collecting rainwater in a barrel, but few take the extra step that transforms it into what can only be described as a microbial powerhouse. Today, we're diving into the rainwater activation method, a forgotten practice that feeds beneficial microbes, energizes soil, and turns ordinary water into a nutrient-delivering tonic your plants will thrive on. There's no question that rainwater is superior to tap water. It's soft, chlorine-free, and naturally slightly acidic, which helps plants absorb nutrients more efficiently. Tap water, by contrast, is treated with chemicals like chlorine and chloramine, both of which kill beneficial soil microbes over time. That means even the healthiest compost or living soil can struggle if it's watered with sterilized tap water day after day. The thing is, rainwater by itself is pure but empty. It doesn't contain any significant organic matter or food sources for microbes. So while it's a better starting point, it's not inherently alive. But when you combine rainwater with the right ingredients, sugars, minerals, and microbial foods, you spark a fermentation process that brings the water to life. What you end up with isn't just water, it's a probiotic tonic for soil. Activated rainwater works on the same principle as Korean natural farming inputs or compost teas. Feed the good microbes and they'll multiply, releasing enzymes, organic acids, and growth hormones that directly benefit your plants. The goal is to create a mild fermentation that wakes up dormant microbes and helps them colonize your soil more aggressively. The microbes feed on sugars and minerals dissolved in the water. As they consume these simple ingredients, they reproduce rapidly, producing metabolites that boost plant immunity and nutrient uptake. In the end, what you pour onto your soil isn't just hydration, it's living biology. This is particularly valuable during dry seasons or after heavy rainfall when microbial populations tend to fluctuate. Activated rainwater stabilizes that ecosystem, giving your soil a consistent supply of microbial activity. To make your own microbial rainwater tonic, you'll need a few basic ingredients. Rainwater, of course, a sugar source like molasses or brown sugar, and a microbial food base such as compost, worm castings, or fermented plant juice. Alright, so to get started, just take 1 gallon of collected rainwater and pour it into a clean bucket or barrel. Next, you'll want to add 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses and 1 tablespoon of high-quality worm castings, or if you prefer, a good handful of finished compost. Then give it all a thorough stir to dissolve the molasses and make sure those solids are nicely distributed. Now, the molasses here acts as the carbon source. Basically, it feeds the microbes the quick energy they need to multiply. The compost or worm castings, on the other hand, provide the actual microbial population that's going to colonize your brew. And if you happen to have access to a splash of fermented plant juice or lactic acid bacteria serum, just add a teaspoon to really boost that microbial diversity. So let the mixture sit uncovered for 12 to 24 hours in a shaded area. This gives the microbes time to wake up and start fermenting, but not so long that the mixture goes anaerobic. You'll probably notice tiny bubbles forming and a slightly earthy smell. And that's your signal that the water is now alive. Once it's activated, you'll want to use it within 2 days. Just pour it directly onto the soil around your plants, or, if you prefer, you can apply it as a foliar spray early in the morning. The microbial film that forms on leaves can actually suppress fungal diseases like powdery mildew, while also increasing nutrient exchange through the leaf surface. The beauty of this method is honestly how adaptable it is. During the growing season, you can apply activated rainwater once or twice a week as a supplement to your regular watering schedule. It's especially effective during transplanting, flowering, and fruiting stages, those times when plants really need a bit of extra biological support. For seedling trays or young transplants, it's best to dilute the tonic at a 1:5 ratio. That's 1 part activated rainwater to 5 parts plain water, just to avoid overwhelming those tender roots. For established plants, though, full strength works perfectly. In hot climates or during drought conditions, this tonic actually helps retain soil moisture by encouraging microbial activity that binds soil particles into aggregates. These aggregates, well, they act like tiny sponges, holding water near the roots for longer and preventing compaction. When you pour activated rainwater into the soil, you're not just watering, you're inoculating. Beneficial bacteria and fungi colonize the root zones, forming biofilms that shield roots from pathogens. They start breaking down organic matter faster, releasing locked nutrients like calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium into plant-available forms. Plants respond quickly. You'll see deeper green foliage, faster recovery from stress, and noticeably thicker root systems. Tomatoes, peppers, and leafy greens are particularly responsive to this method. Within a few weeks, you'll notice they not only grow faster, but honestly seem to resist common soil-borne diseases. These microbes also create natural plant growth hormones like indole-3 acetic acid or IAA and gibberellins, compounds that directly influence root elongation and flowering. It's a bit like giving your plants a living multivitamin instead of a synthetic supplement, really. Beyond the immediate plant benefits, activated rainwater is actually a cornerstone of regenerative gardening. It supports closed-loop nutrient cycling. You're reusing natural rainfall, feeding it with compost or kitchen waste, and returning that biology right back to your soil. There's no runoff pollution, no chemical residue, and, well, no cost beyond what you already have at home. For gardeners relying heavily on stored rainwater, this process also helps prevent stagnation. Instead of letting barrels of water just sit inert and collect biofilm, occasional activation keeps it fresh and biologically balanced. It's an elegant solution that bridges traditional rain harvesting with modern soil science. Experienced growers know that healthy soil depends on microbial diversity, yet too often, irrigation water undermines that balance. Activated rainwater solves this issue naturally, without pumps, filters, or expensive inoculants. You're essentially building a micro-ecosystem in every drop. The result? Well, you get plants with stronger immune systems, richer soil texture, and improved yields, all without synthetic additives. Gardeners who consistently use this method actually report needing fewer fertilizers over time because the soil becomes self-sustaining. Don't let your rain barrels sit idle or waste their potential. With just a spoonful of molasses and a handful of compost, you can turn stored rainwater into one of the most powerful natural fertilizers on Earth. This simple process works in every garden, from small urban setups to large homesteads, and it's completely sustainable. So the next time it rains, think beyond storage, think activation. You'll be amazed how much life a few microbes and a little patience can bring to your soil. If you found this guide useful, hit subscribe and join the Gentle Herb Living community for more hands-on garden science and old-world techniques made simple. Share this with your gardening friends. Let's bring life back into every drop we use.